Imagine living in the heart of one of America's biggest cities, surrounded by luxury apartments, fancy restaurants, and tech giants. But just a few blocks away, there's another reality most people choose to ignore. Thousands of people are not living the high life but are surviving in tents, shelters, and under bridges. How did this happen in some of the wealthiest cities on Earth? In today's video, we're diving into the shocking rise of homelessness in America's largest cities. We're talking about why, despite billion-dollar skylines, more people are living on the streets than ever before. And as housing costs continue to soar, what can be done to stop this growing crisis? Stick around as we uncover the cold, hard facts behind this trend. You might just be surprised at how close this issue is to your own backyard. Los Angeles has long been at the forefront of America's homelessness crisis, and 2024 shows no signs of this trend slowing. The city's homeless population has ballooned in recent years, reaching an estimated 75,000 individuals. A major factor behind this rise is the skyrocketing cost of housing in Los Angeles, where median home prices have surged to over $900,000, and rents continue to rise dramatically. Many residents simply can't afford to stay housed, leading to more people living on the streets, in cars, or in makeshift shelters. Los Angeles's Skid Row remains one of the most concentrated homeless areas in the country. Despite multiple efforts from city officials to address the issue, the number of homeless individuals in Skid Row has continued to grow. The city has invested billions into housing projects and shelters, but bureaucratic delays and rising costs of construction have slowed progress. Efforts such as the Homeless Emergency Aid Program, or HEAP, and the Measure H tax, which raised funds to build supportive housing, have shown some positive impact. However, the demand for affordable housing far exceeds the supply, and the city's shelter capacity is consistently overwhelmed. The issue is compounded by mental health and substance abuse challenges, which affect a significant portion of the homeless population. The city's homeless service providers report that while there are more beds and services available than before, they are not enough to meet the needs of the rapidly growing homeless population. Outreach teams are stretched thin, and advocates emphasize that until Los Angeles addresses the root causes of the housing affordability crisis, the problem will likely continue to worsen. New York City continues to have one of the largest homeless populations in the United States, with estimates suggesting around 90,000 individuals are experiencing homelessness in 2024. Despite being a wealthy and global financial hub, the city has struggled to manage this issue effectively. A significant driver of the homelessness crisis in New York is the combination of extremely high rental prices and low vacancy rates, making it increasingly difficult for low-income individuals to secure affordable housing. Many of the homeless in New York City live in temporary shelters, with over 70,000 individuals residing in the city's shelter system. These shelters often house families with children, highlighting the growing number of families affected by the crisis. While New York has a legal right to shelter, meaning the city is required to provide beds to homeless individuals, the shelters are often overcrowded and conditions can be dire. The city has launched several initiatives aimed at reducing homelessness, including supportive housing programs and rent assistance for low-income individuals. In 2024, the NYC 1515 initiative continues to work on providing supportive housing units to homeless individuals with special needs, offering not only a place to stay but also on-site services for mental health, substance abuse, and job placement. However, the initiative has faced challenges, including delays in building and funding constraints. The complexities of homelessness in New York also stem from other socioeconomic issues, such as gentrification, displacement, and the decline in affordable housing stock. As more neighborhoods are developed for higher-income residents, long-time low-income communities are pushed out, further exacerbating the homelessness problem. San Francisco's homelessness crisis has become a defining issue for the city in 2024. The city, known for its high cost of living, has seen a dramatic increase in its homeless population, which is now estimated at around 10,000 individuals. The housing crisis in San Francisco is largely driven by the tech boom, which has pushed housing prices to exorbitant levels. Median home prices have soared to over $1.3 million, while rents for even modest apartments can exceed $4,000 per month. The homeless population in San Francisco is highly visible, with many encampments throughout the city, especially in the Tenderloin and Soma neighborhoods. Despite being one of the wealthiest cities in the world, San Francisco has struggled to find solutions that can adequately address the growing crisis. The city has tried various approaches, including creating new shelters, expanding access to supportive housing, and investing in mental health services, but the scale of the problem remains immense. The Navigation Center model, designed to provide temporary shelter and comprehensive services to homeless individuals, has been one of the city's most prominent strategies. These centers offer more than just beds. They provide support for mental health, job training, and housing assistance. However, while these centers have had success in transitioning some individuals into permanent housing, there aren't enough of them to meet the growing demand. Homelessness in San Francisco is also intertwined with issues of drug addiction and mental health. The city has some of the highest rates of drug overdose deaths in the country, and many of those living on the streets struggle with severe mental health conditions. The city has taken steps to increase funding for mental health services, but long-term solutions remain elusive. Seattle's homeless population continues to grow in 2024, with estimates suggesting around 13,000 individuals are experiencing homelessness. The city, much like other West Coast urban areas, has been deeply affected by rising rents, housing shortages, and economic inequality. Median rent in Seattle has climbed to over $2,500 per month, pushing many low-income residents out of stable housing and onto the streets. The homelessness crisis in Seattle is particularly visible in areas such as downtown and near Interstate 5, where large encampments have formed. The city's homelessness strategy has focused heavily on emergency shelter and transitional housing, with the goal of getting people off the streets as quickly as possible. However, Seattle's shelter system is overwhelmed, and many homeless individuals report that they struggle to find available beds. One of the major initiatives the city has implemented is the Seattle Housing Levy, which raises funds to create affordable housing and support homelessness prevention programs. This measure has resulted in the creation of thousands of affordable housing units, but demand continues to outpace supply. In 2024, the city is also experimenting with tiny house villages, where homeless individuals can live in small, self-contained units while they transition to permanent housing. Seattle's homelessness problem is also compounded by its growing opioid crisis. The city has seen a significant increase in drug overdoses, particularly among the homeless population. In response, Seattle has expanded harm reduction programs and increased funding for addiction treatment services, but the challenge remains immense. Austin has seen a sharp rise in homelessness over the past few years, with the population now estimated at around 5,000 individuals in 2024. The city's rapid growth and popularity have driven up housing costs, making it increasingly difficult for low-income residents to keep up with rising rents. In addition, Texas has experienced a wave of gentrification, displacing many longtime residents and contributing to the homelessness crisis. The homelessness crisis in Austin has been highly visible, with large encampments forming in public spaces. In 2024, city officials have faced increasing pressure to find solutions, leading to the development of more temporary shelters and emergency housing programs. However, the city has struggled to keep up with demand, and many homeless individuals are still living in unsanctioned camps. Austin has taken steps to address the issue through programs like the Housing First initiative, which prioritizes getting homeless individuals into permanent housing as quickly as possible. This model has shown success in other cities, and Austin is expanding it in hopes of reducing the overall homeless population. In addition, the city has been working on increasing the availability of affordable housing, though construction has been slow. Mental health and addiction are also significant factors contributing to homelessness in Austin. Many of the city's homeless residents struggle with these issues, and the city has been working to expand access to services, including mobile outreach teams that provide on-the-spot care for homeless individuals. Chicago's homeless population has grown to an estimated 65,000 individuals in 2024, making it one of the largest in the country. While homelessness in Chicago is not as visible as in West Coast cities, it remains a significant issue, particularly in underserved areas on the south and west sides. The city's high cost of living, particularly in housing, has contributed to the rise in homelessness, as many residents are unable to keep up with rising rents and home prices. The city's shelter system is often at capacity, and many homeless individuals are forced to sleep in cars or on public transportation. Chicago has implemented several programs to combat homelessness, including the Flexible Housing Pool, which aims to provide permanent supportive housing to the city's most vulnerable residents. This program has shown promise, but it remains underfunded and unable to meet the growing need. Chicago has also invested in mental health services for its homeless population, recognizing that many individuals on the streets suffer from untreated mental health conditions. The city has expanded access to care, but long wait times and a shortage of facilities remain a challenge. The winters in Chicago are notoriously harsh, making homelessness particularly dangerous. The city has expanded its emergency shelter capacity during the colder months, but advocates argue that more needs to be done to provide long-term solutions to the homelessness crisis. Phoenix has one of the fastest-growing homeless populations in the country, with an estimated 11,000 individuals experiencing homelessness in 2024. The city's affordable housing crisis, coupled with rising temperatures due to climate change, has made living on the streets even more challenging. Many homeless individuals in Phoenix live in tent encampments or sleep in cars, as shelters are often at capacity. The city has implemented several initiatives to address homelessness, including the Homeless Outreach Proactive Engagement, or HOPE team, which works to connect homeless individuals with services such as housing and healthcare. Phoenix has also increased funding for affordable housing, though demand continues to outpace supply. Phoenix's homelessness crisis is compounded by the extreme heat. During the summer months, temperatures can reach over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, making life on the streets incredibly dangerous. The city has opened cooling centers to help homeless individuals escape the heat, but these centers are often overcrowded. Despite these challenges, the city is making progress in addressing homelessness through innovative programs like Housing First, which focuses on getting individuals into stable housing before addressing other issues like mental health or addiction. San Diego's homeless population has grown to an estimated 10,000 individuals in 2024, driven in large part by the city's housing crisis. The high cost of living, combined with limited affordable housing options, has forced many residents onto the streets. San Diego's mild climate also attracts homeless individuals from other parts of the country, further increasing the population. The city has implemented several initiatives to address homelessness, including the Bridge Shelter program, which provides temporary housing and services to help individuals transition to permanent housing. San Diego has also invested in affordable housing, but construction has been slow, and many homeless individuals remain on waiting lists for housing assistance. San Diego's homelessness crisis is highly visible, particularly in downtown areas where large encampments have formed. The city has increased funding for outreach teams that work to connect homeless individuals with services, but the scale of the problem remains overwhelming. Mental health and substance abuse are also significant factors contributing to homelessness in San Diego. The city has expanded access to treatment programs, but long wait times and a shortage of facilities remain challenges. Portland's homeless population has continued to grow in 2024, with an estimated 8,000 individuals experiencing homelessness. The city has long struggled with a housing crisis, driven by rising rents and a shortage of affordable housing. Many of Portland's homeless residents live in tent encampments, which have become increasingly common in public spaces throughout the city. The city has implemented several programs to address homelessness, including the Joint Office of Homeless Services, which coordinates efforts between the city and county to provide housing and services. Portland has also invested in affordable housing, but demand continues to outpace supply. Portland's homelessness crisis is compounded by the city's growing opioid epidemic. Many homeless individuals struggle with addiction, and the city has expanded access to harm reduction programs and treatment services in response. Despite these challenges, Portland has made progress in addressing homelessness through innovative programs like supportive housing, which provides permanent housing, along with wraparound services for individuals with mental health or addiction issues. Las Vegas has seen a significant increase in its homeless population, with an estimated 7,000 individuals experiencing homelessness in 2024. The The city's tourism-based economy has been hit hard by the pandemic, leading to job losses and economic instability. The lack of affordable housing in Las Vegas has also contributed to the rise in homelessness, as many residents are unable to keep up with rising rents. The city has implemented several initiatives to address homelessness, including the Courtyard Homeless Resource Center, which provides temporary housing and services to help individuals transition to permanent housing. Las Vegas has also invested in affordable housing, but demand continues to outpace supply. Las Vegas's homelessness crisis is highly visible, particularly in the downtown area, where large encampments have formed. The city has increased funding for outreach teams that work to connect homeless individuals with services, but the scale of the problem remains overwhelming. Despite these challenges, Las Vegas is making progress in addressing homelessness through innovative programs like mobile outreach, which provides on-the-spot services to homeless individuals, including healthcare and housing assistance. In conclusion, homelessness in America's largest cities continues to grow at an alarming rate, driven by a combination of skyrocketing housing costs, economic disparities, and other systemic issues. Cities like Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco have all implemented various programs to combat the problem, but the reality is that more needs to be done to address the root causes and provide long-term solutions. As the crisis deepens, these cities will need to find innovative approaches to make housing more affordable, expand access to mental health services, and offer better support to their most vulnerable residents. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth content on important social issues affecting cities across the world. We've got more eye-opening videos coming your way. Stay tuned.